senior counsel, a very senior counsel, took me over to one side and he put his arm around me and he said, "Willie," he said, "the tragedy about this case is you believe they're innocent."
Yeah.
Now, at that stage, I knew there was going to be no hope for you. And not only that, I have to say this, in a very real sense, that case coloured my entire legal life in relation to the criminal justice system. I really never regained my faith in it after that. That system was fighting for its life. It was prepared to jail anybody to keep itself going.
On day 2 of the trial, the case was unexpectedly adjourned.
As it turned out, it seemed to be that this was their opportunity to offer us this deal. The deal being that if we did plead guilty to what we were, all the charges that we had been charged with, that they would give us, we would only do 15 years. Only do 15 years. But if we maintained our innocence and pleaded innocent, that basically we were going down for life. And one of the legal team approached us here and said, "We want you to say goodbye to NI." And it was the fact that it rhymed still sticks in my mind. And I asked him to explain what he meant, and he said, "I want you to get out of Northern Ireland tonight."
No. What I did tell them was that I didn't think they were going to get justice. The decision whether to turn up or not turn up was one for themselves. I couldn't have told them to go on their own.
I realised that this was it, that they had won. That it was all bullshit. Like that the RUC had won. We had to make about an hour and a half journey back to Derry. The journey was just heart-wrenching, because I knew that at the end of it I was going to have to sit down my mother until I was getting out of Northern Ireland. She went to pieces, and I can remember literally she started pulling her hair, and I could see strands of hair coming out in her head. And she said, "Son, you can't. And I says, "Look, we have to." I says, "The others are going, and I have to." I could see Michael Toner getting into a car. I remember running out to the door to him. He said Jerry Kelly and Stephen Crumley's were already gone. And I asked him, could I go with him? He said, yeah. So I very, very quickly ran in and said, I have to go. And I ran out. I remember going out the door, and I won't look back at the house. And that was the last I've seen of it for like 20 years. I didn't even question where we were going. I didn't know. The fear that went through your body. I don't think I ever experienced fear since then, like that. You know, we were just running to save our lives.
The plan was that Jerry and Michael Toner would be dropped off just short of the border. They would secretly cross the fields by foot into Southern Ireland and be met on the other side. 22 years later, they retraced their escape route.
When I got out of the car and I realised the plan, I sort of said, well, this is it. The plan being that we would watch for the headlights as we ran across the field.
And that was an indication to say that the car had passed across the border. And if we reached the car, then we're safe.
And but I think once I stepped into the field, then I realised it's sort of that we were wide open.
The chances of running into a border patrol were very, very high.
They could be lying and waiting here for us. Surely they must know, with their intelligence sources that maybe we might make a break for it. And if they wanted, this was their opportunity just to take us out, as it were, and leave us lying in the field, dead. And then we seen the lights flickering. And I don't know who it was, but between the two of us, we decided, right, we have to go now, it has to be them. And I just took off, and I could hear him in the background shouting, "McGowan, wait for me." I wasn't waiting for anything.
We were running for our lives, Jerry.
That's what
We were running for our lives.
Once over the border and into Southern Ireland, the four were reunited in the seaside town of Moville.
I suppose once we had got over the border and knew that we were clear of Northern Ireland and away from it, then it started to be like a bit of an adventure. But if you were going to come somewhere to sort of hide, what better place to pick?
A local priest agreed to harbour them for a week. This is the first time that Jerry has been back in 23 years.
This is Father O'Gara's house, the late Father O'Gara, God bless him. This is where the four of us, were cooked up the first night. There was a lady who was actually looking after Father O'Gara's sort of a housekeeper. She was in there, so there was actually 6 of us in a house this size, like. That was Mary. I think all 4 of us might have had a eye on her, like. And she was quite an attractive young lady, and of course, I'm sure that night we probably headed for a pint somewhere, because for the 2 years previous we had been home at 10 o'clock, and in the days that followed, I suppose it was nearly a novelty to get out for a pint at 10:15 or 10:30, and just do what normal people were doing.
At that stage, I think we were starting to get a bond, the distrust. I mean, there was a lot of distrust between the four of us. A lot of distrust. No one didn't trust the other. Like, there was the feeling of guilt. One was guilty, or two was, there was, wasn't there?
Yeah, but that was all down to the RUC
Yeah,
for what they did.
Again, that was their...